Hello trainers, welcome to a brand new video here at the PoTown Store YouTube channel. Today I'll be presenting a very unique build of Malamar VMAX. So let's take a look at the list. Alright, so starting things off here with this Malamar VMAX deck, we have the beautiful Malamar VMAX sitting at 310 HP, which is a little low for the standard that we are used to with VMAXs, and we have the attack Max Jammer doing 180 damage. Your opponent reveals their hand and you choose a card you find there and you put it on the bottom of their deck. So we're going to be trying to disrupt our opponents as much as we can and take away whatever cards they might need for next turn that would help them counter us. Now, the 3 energy requirement for Malamar VMAX is a pretty steep price to pay. However, we do have our Leafeon V with the ability Greeting Cells, allowing us to search our deck for a grass energy and attach it to one of our Pokemon, and then we shuffle our deck, and if we use this ability, our turn ends. So we're going to be using Leafeon V in order to help get that extra energy attachment onto Malamar VMAX so that we can more quickly start using Max Jammer. And then afterwards, Leafeon is there only for the first turn. That is why we are only playing 2 grass energies. And then afterwards, we will probably end up using Raihan in order to attach that bonus energy to the second Malamar VMAX in order to continue to use Max Jammer. Now we are playing Crobat and the Shady Dealings Inteleon line for consistency. Shady Dealings allows us to search our deck for any trainer card that we might need and put it into our hand once we evolve Sobble into Drizzle. And the great thing about this is that we have Energy Search, Pokemon Search, and any trainers that we might need. Therefore, Drizzle can literally find us anything that we are missing in order to help us beat our opponent. Inteleon with the Shady Dealings ability allows us to do the same, but finding 2 items or trainers instead of just 1. And we also have bonus damage output through the Inteleon's quick shooting in case we ever need to do a little bit of damage with the 2 damage counters in order to help bolster the damage that Max Jammer does. Crobat's ability Dark Acid helps us in getting extra resources in our hand, and then we have a few utility cards such as the Sydney, where our opponent reveals their hand and we discard up to 2 in any combination of Pokemon Tool cards, Special Energy cards, and Stadium cards. So combined with Max Jammer, we could be disrupting our opponent's hands quite quickly and quite easily. We can also disrupt tool cards by using Tool Scrapper, and outside of that, we have Boss Sorters to help us target down the right Pokemon. That's gonna be the deck list that we will be playing with today. Let's jump into some games and see if Malamar VMAX can do well for us. Alright, here we go with our first match with Malamar VMAX. Let's see if we can get our Malamar VMAX going along with the Leafeon. We are both going to mulligan, so we are both going to get information on what we are up against. And we have the start that we would like, right, with the Malamar and the Leafeon, so that's really nice. We seem to be up against Blissey V, so not a very threatening deck overall on turn 1. Because they're not attacking, they can only attach 1 energy. However, we really don't want to see a Path to a Peak get played, and that's exactly what we see. So that means no Leafeon use for me, which is really sad, as we are not playing any stadiums ourselves. Really sad to see that Path to a Peak. Really sad. Okay, so I think I'm gonna give up on the active Malamar. I'd just rather power up another one. So we'll go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go ahead and... No, I'm not gonna go ahead and boss. I'm just gonna go ahead and research. So we'll forget about the Leafeon, but hopefully you can see how it would have been really good to finish this turn with a 2 energy Malamar V. Alright, so decent setup, definitely a decent setup. We are always going to be 2-shotting Blissey, so we'll see if we can disrupt their hand enough to where we prevent healing of some sort. Interesting that they chose to go for the Dunsparce. A little bit of healing lost is great news for us. really great news here. And okay, so we have the attachment. That's fantastic. I feel like combining the attack with Marnie is going to be the ideal situation. The active Malamar could actually end up living this turn, so I don't think the bonus damage will matter too much of the quick shooting. It's always going to be 2-shot, or almost always. So I'm going to establish the Malamar VMAX, and I'm just going to research this hand away at this point. Yeah, I'll get the Sobble, and then I'll use the Scoop Up Net to use the second. I mean, I guess I could Marnie here, actually. They do have quite a big hand, and that way I get to keep the Inteleon. Actually, I'm gonna choose to Marnie here because of that reason. To conserve the quick shooting Inteleon. The Leafeon obviously I don't care about, but conserving that Inteleon could be important, and now I do have access to potentially Shady Dealings to find the switching card. What I'm really missing though is energy. So I might just end up going for Marnie next turn. We'll see. There's no way for me to guarantee energy. That's the annoying part. Depending on what my opponent does, I will use either Research or Marnie. But they didn't do pretty much anything. So that really frees me up for the Research play here. So I'm gonna get Drizzle, in fact. And I'm gonna grab the Herballoon so I can retreat the active Malamar. And it really sucks losing the right hand, but that's okay. Herballoon. And I will Quick Ball away to Thin. Grabbing the Leafeon, which I will definitely not be using anytime soon, and hopefully we get our energy so that we can start applying pressure, and there it is. We not only get our energy, but we also get the Inteleon, which we could actually use to slowly but surely whittle down at that Dunsparce. The Sydney here is actually a bad card because we don't want to discard energies for our opponent, so we're just gonna go ahead and discard that, and then we'll go Max Jammer and remove resources from our opponent. We don't mind if they go Hyper Potion in this particular situation. I think I actually want to get rid of their Blissey, because then I could just end up winning next turn. Unless they heal, right? But unless they top deck an energy, or they flip a lot of heads with Lucky Ice Puff, which thankfully did not happen, we could potentially win this turn. Okay, so they do play the Hyper Potion. What was the card that they took? There we go. Yeah, so removing away that Blissey ensured that my opponent was in a very tough spot. We weren't going to be able to win next turn, but we were very close at that point. So, solid win for Malamar and the hand disruption. Let's jump into the next game. Alrighty, let's jump into our second game right here and see if we can get our good start, which we can, right? We got our Leafeon, we got our Malamar off of the Quick Ball, and we even have Crobat for draw. Now, unfortunately, we're up against a grass deck, it seems, so that could be problematic. However, we actually noticed that we're up against Sandaconda, so very deceitful with that grass deck box. Alrighty. Okay, now I have a pretty good hand to the point where I don't even need to Crobat. I think Marnie will be my best bet next turn, though I definitely can't afford to get rid of one Evolution Instance as well to keep the supporters. So we're gonna go ahead and establish the Malamar right here. Go ahead and bench it, go ahead and attach to it, and utilize the Greening Cells ability. Now we do need to find one of our two Herballoons for next turn, and without a Sobble down, that might be a little difficult to achieve, but that's okay. Now we're still going to potentially get the turn to Malamar VMAX, but this is why Leafeon is here, this is why Leafeon is so good, and Now you can even add a single copy of Leafeon V to the deck if you want to, and that allows you to have the V ability, which essentially gives you an extra ghost effect. So you can easily take out one boss for a Leafeon V and you get the same effect, but you also get a chance to disrupt with Marnie plus the attack, plus a ghost, or just research into the ghost that you might be needing. So it's a very good deal overall. Yeah, now we are up against Sandaconda, as I explained. So I'm gonna establish the Sobble, and I'm definitely going to go ahead and attach, and I will also search for the Malamar VMAX, and I'm gonna draw 3 cards and then 5 to hopefully find our Herballoon. I could also just research, since I will not be doing too much damage to my opponent's hand by taking away 1 card. So I'm going to choose to research just to maximize the chances that I get the Herballoon. But if I had the Herballoon, I definitely would have gone for the Marnie. Now, unfortunately, we aren't able to get there, so I'm just going to go ahead and Greening Cells again, get another energy into play, just to be extra cautious, and then finally next turn we'll be able to attack with Malamar. But you can see the combo working really well here. We were 1 card off from a turn to Malamar VMAX, ready to disrupt your opponent's hand, along with a potential Marnie, which is the dream, right? Definitely the dream. If you wanted to add further disruption, you could play Path to a Peak. Even further disruption, you could play Crushing Hammers or Fan of Waves. So there's a bunch of ways to really adequate your deck in order to apply pressure and also do a lot of damage, basically, to your opponent's active and also their hand. Yeah, because 180 is nothing to scoff at. Definitely nothing to scoff at. It KOs most support Pokemon, as we are seeing with the Kricketune, KOs Crobats, KOs Eldegoss, KOs the future Luminion from Billion Stars, so should be a pretty cool deck. Yeah, definitely fun to play. If you want to be annoying against your opponents and take away the resources, this is the deck for you. Alright, now I don't even need to search for the Herballoon, I can just attach an energy and retreat. Given how my opponent has 4 cards in their hand, I definitely don't need to Marnie. They also had a weak-ish turn 2, so I'm just gonna go ahead and search for the Herballoon right away. Here we go. And there's the Herballoon. And I will just go ahead and thin excess cards that I definitely won't be needing. There's no need for another Malamar V, so I'm taking these cards out of the deck to increase the chances that I draw other useful cards like the Inteleon, like the Drizzle, more energies, bosses orders, all of that good stuff. And there we have it. Yeah, I do believe the bonus damage could be useful at some point. So it's tempting to evolve into Drizzle preemptively, but also I definitely don't need to at this point, since I do have KOs on everything that my opponent has. And now this is the key card that we take away from them, and that completely kills whatever they were planning off of that Bruno, right? So that might prompt them to promote the Kricketune in order to try and draw at least 1 card. They can attach an energy, so they'll have 2 cards plus whatever they top deck, so they'll be guaranteed to draw at least 1 card. If the card they top deck is playable, then they would have gotten 2 cards, but actually they choose not to, so we'll see what their top deck was. We knew they had a Gossifleur and 2 Fighting Energies. We don't know what the 4th card is. But yeah, you can see how strong Hand Denial is. Okay, apparently they top deck Peony, which is very sad, as we took away their Bruno and they don't lose a lot of resources, but obviously a low chance of them top decking out of this doesn't mean a 0% chance, right? So sometimes they will top deck out of these sort of situations. Alright, double evolution instance, we'll search for double Sandaconda right here, and Sandaconda will potentially do a lot of damage. Discard the top 6 cards of your deck, and this attack does 60 damage for each fighting energy card you discarded in this way. That means, I mean, my opponent needs 6 out of 6 in order to knock out my Malamar VMAX in 1 hit, but it's still pretty scary. And they also chose to evolve their wrong. Sandaconda or Silicobra rather. This could be a problem. Ooh, that was actually way too close for comfort. That was very scary, not gonna lie. That was indeed very scary. Alright, so now, I mean, I have access to boss's orders, right? It's not quite good enough. Now, my opponent did make the mistake I was mentioning of the Silicobra, so they might not have the evolution. They probably have an energy though, so I guess that doesn't really matter too much. I really don't know what I'm getting here. Don't think it matters really. 80 HP. Yeah, the quick shooting damage doesn't really matter at all. So it just comes down to okay. I'm still missing my other Malamar VMAX, however. That is definitely what I'm missing right now, which I could have grabbed. For some reason chose not to since I do have the incense, but that's okay. I can just reset the Inteleon since it's not super necessary, and I can go max jammer, take a knockout, check out my opponent's hand as well. I don't want the energy back into the deck, I do want the quick ball, though it does go to the bottom, so it doesn't really affect the future damage output. And there was no way for me to deny the damage that this guy's gonna deal next turn, so that's okay. So now that I'm in this particular situation, it could have been good to... We know they don't have the Silicobra, but they are going to get 3 prizes right here. So we'll see. Maybe there's a chance I can deny another attack by a big sand cannon. Since they only needed to do 10 damage, that's definitely a way to do it. So I'm gonna KO this Sandaconda this turn. Take a look at my opponent's hand, and also potentially have knockout on the Silicobra with my ability in order to win next turn. I think that's the plan. If they don't evolve, then I actually win next turn. And if they do evolve, then tough luck. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and quick shooting. I'll keep the energy in hand in case they go boss and I have to retreat. And then max jammer and see what card we take away from them. Definitely the peony. Now I have a useless Wild VIP pass and 4 useless fighting energies. So if they don't top deck the Sandaconda or a way to get the Sandaconda, then the game should be over. Unless I whiff my Inteleon, right? Unless my quick shooting Inteleon is the last card in my deck. So we promote the Cricket and they attach the energy. We know 4 of their 5 cards. Ordinary Rod was their top deck. Okay, so they're gonna put the Sandaconda back into the deck. They actually choose to put back a Silicobra despite the fact that I'm gonna take 2 prizes right now. And they will only have access to 1 Silicobra total, but even then it's not enough, right? In order to guarantee the game, I could also just go boss, right? But where's the excitement in that? Now I get to do this. Since I top decked the card, I was definitely going to try and research to get the Inteleon. This gets me a prize card, and then I just KO the Cricketune for 2 more prize cards, and that is the game. Yeah, and you can see how the denial, even though we weren't playing against a top tier deck, neither is Malamar, right? And the card denial that it offered allowed us to take a little bit of control. My opponent did top deck once out of it, but all the other times we were under control and we made sure that our opponent was not able to set up more Sandacondas, right? Which is fantastic. So yeah, there you have it. Malamar working almost flawlessly. We just missed the attack on turn 2, but even then that wasn't enough for our opponent to recover. And imagine if they don't top deck immediately in that first hand, the game would have been over quite a long time ago. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for watching the PoTown Store YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed right down there, and I'll catch you next time.